So, dear students, we are going to discuss our fourth unit, that is social issues and the environment. So, in the environmental point of view, this unit is very important because human beings live in both natural and social world. Our technological development has strong impacts on the natural as well as the social components. When we talk of the development, so it cannot be perceived as development only for the one sector of people who are living in higher standard of who are leading their high standard of life. So the development also does not mean an increase the GNP, that is gross national product, or increase in the GDP or gross domestic product, etc. So the development means the higher it all sector of people, all sections of people in one country lead their life in an equal manner without any discrepancy, or without any with the use of the resources in a sustainable way. For example, so one sector of people are living in a palace-like apartment, and another sector of people are living are leading their life in the roadside. So this discrepancy, these differences should not be there. So what one the higher the people who are living in the palace-like apartment, what are all the technological advancement they use, the same technological advancement must be given and to the people who are living in the below poverty line. That is the true true development. So now I would like to pose one question. This does the development lead to environmental problems? Yes, though development is aimed at improving global economy and standard of living, yet it is leading to several environmental problems that ultimately degrade our environment and human health. A major cause of this is unsustainable resource utilization. What is again? I would like to post one question. So, if what is sustainable development? The major problem for the deterioration of environmental quality is the utilization of resources in the unsustainable way. So, what is sustainable development? What is the meaning for sustainability? Sustainable development is defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This is the definition for sustainable development. I repeat, so it is defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. How do you attain the sustainable development? So what are the key aspects of sustainable development? So mainly, so that sustainable development means it provides intergenerational equity and intragenerational equity. What is intergenerational equity? Intergenerational equity means, say for example, which country is called as powerful country in the world? United States, because they are technologically developed. They have almost all types of developed technologies. Intergenerational equity means the people who are living in US use the advanced technology. As I said before, the same technology must be used by the people who are living in Africa or poor countries, the developing countries like Africa, Ethiopia, Nigeria, etc. So this kind of equity must be achieved, must be then only we cannot attain this sustainable development. Another one, intragenerational equity. See, in this intragenerational equity, same country, if you take India, one sector of people are living and they are leading their life in higher standards. Another sector of people are struggling to get their basic needs like food and water. So this kind of differences should be eradicated. And what are the measures for sustainable development? So that is using appropriate technology. So this using eco-friendly technology. The developed technology should not be harmful to our environment. So this design with nature approach or concept has to be developed among the people. The technology should use less of resources and should produce minimum waste. So this is the one of the key measures to attain this sustainable development. Another one, that is 3R approach, a reduce, a reuse, a recycle approach. 3R approach advocating minimization of resource use, using them again and again instead of passing it on to the waste stream, and recycling materials goes a long way in achieving the goals of sustainability. When we produce more materials that ultimately needs more resources, when we use the materials again and again, the resource utilization is minimized. The resources may be useful. If we minimize the use of natural resources, the resources that we save in this generation may be definitely useful to our future generations. Next, creating environmental awareness. Making environmental education the center of all learning process will greatly help in changing the thinking and attitude of the people towards our earth and the environment. And next one, that is resource utilization as per carrying capacity. What does it mean? Say for example, I take the Coimbatore city. So assume that, for example point of view, for example I am telling, the Coimbatore can be in Coimbatore only 1,000 people or 1 lakh people can be accommodated. If we accommodate more than 1 lakh people, or say for example 2 lakh people are accommodated in Coimbatore, so they would definitely exploit, rather over exploit the nature. So the resource must be utilized as per the carrying capacity. If one particular place means that then that particular place only 1,000 people can be accommodated, means only the 1,000 people should be there. If one people more than that, that is over exploitation of natural resources would take place. So the resource utilization as per the carrying capacity must be done, so in order to attain the sustainable development. And what are the urban problems related to energy? So people started their life in the villages. They started fishing. They started doing agriculture. So after the industrial revolution, the more number of people migrated to the urban areas, which also demands more electricity. Residential and commercial lighting requires more electricity. If electricity consumption is high, that the resource exploitation is also high. How electricity is generated? 60 to 70 percentage of the electricity is generated through thermal power plants. In thermal power plants, coal is used as the fuel. Coal is the natural resource that is extracted from the earth crust. So if we use more electricity, more amount of coal should be extracted at one point, at certain point of time. The the natural resource, that is coal, will not be available. We cannot produce electricity from using the coal-fired power plants. So we will be in trouble. Another one, transportation including automobiles and public transport for moving from residence to workplace, it consumes energy. Modern lifestyle, using a large number of electrical gadgets in everyday life. Industrial plants using a big proportion of energy. And waste generation, a large amount of waste generation which has to be disposed of properly using energy based techniques. Another, pollution control. Yes, control and prevention of air and water pollution which need energy dependent technologies. Due to high population density and high energy demanding activities, the urban problems related to energy are much more magnified as compared to the rural population. Now we are going to discuss about the challenges and problems associated with the utilization of water. We have discussed about the problems associated with the use of energy. Now we are going to discuss about the conservation of water. How can we conserve the water? The water can be conserved in the following ways. That is contour cultivation. What is contour cultivation? In the slopy areas, the cultivation should be done across the rows instead of ups and downs. If we cultivate across the rows, that can retain the water and the soil during rainy season. So the infiltration capacity in the soil is improved. And another method, that is construction of terracing. Series of benches of terrace can be constructed across the slope, which prevents the run of water during a rainy season. And water spreading, this is done by channeling the water in the wider area rather than providing the water flowing channels in a narrow space. If you spread the water flowing area in a wider space, that increases the infiltration of water into the soil. So this is one of the practices to minimize the water loss. Next one, chemical wetting agents. Certain surfactants like gypsums, some fertilizers like gypsums are used by the farmers to in order to hold or withstand the water for some time. So these surfactants, some fertilizers like gypsums can be used in the soil to hold the water. Next, surface crop residues, tillage, mulching techniques can be used to hold the water. So what is mulching? So in the previous lecture we have discussed about the mulching. Here the waste plant leaves and waste plant materials are dispersed on the soil, which reduce the water loss as well as the soil erosion. And chemical conditioners, here some chemicals are added like polyacrylonitrile. This kind of polymers are added to make the soil wet, which will absorb the water and make the soil wet. Another, reducing evaporation losses. This is more relevant in humid regions. So horizontal barriers of asphalt. Have you heard the word asphalt? What is asphalt? Asphalt, that is the petroleum jelly that is that can be used in the soil, particularly in the subsurface soil, which absorbs and holds the water to some extent. These practices are adopted in Africa because they are a water starving country. Another one, that is storing water in soil, that is more ponds, more lakes should be created in order to store the water and the soil. Next, reducing irrigation losses. Instead of using the bulk irrigation, the drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation techniques should be used by the farmers. This methodology should reduce the water use, water consumption as well as the irrigation loss. Reuse of water. The treated wastewater can be used for irrigation. Recycling of water, the waste water, the waste water should be recycled and reused. Preventing wastage of water. This can be done in households and commercial buildings and public places. So closing taps when not in use, repairing any leakage from pipes, using small capacity flush in toilets. Increasing block pricing. It means the consumer has to pay proportionately higher bill with higher use of water. So if they use more water, they have to pay more. So this kind of methodology should be adopted by the government. This helps in economic use of water by the consumers. That's all. And the next class we are going to discuss about the rainwater harvesting techniques and watershed management.